Good morning. Welcome to a new series of new moon and full moon meditations. My name is Shelley Adams. I live in Hermanus in the Western Cape. I've lived here for 34 years. It's a very beautiful place in which to live. I'll be doing these readings at new moon and full moon, or very close to that, as we go along. I will be using my Sacred SoulJourney pack. This is a deck of cards that I created from my original paintings. It has 36 cards in the pack. The back of each card has a guinea fowl feather on it. That is the symbol for spiritual protection, so that we always ask for divine protection when working with the cards. There is a full color booklet that comes with it, with each of the cards, their messages, and everything you would need in the pack. Anybody that's interested in getting them, they are available from me at Shelley, SHELLEY, at shelleyadams.co.za. The pack comes in 3 suits. The first is power and wisdom. That is looking at your own gifts within you, finding what they are, bringing out and connecting with your wisdom and your inner power that helps you to step forward. Then we have a suit of spirit guide cards, which gives you messages from your soul that you might have remembered or might have forgotten, but need to take note of at this time. And the third one is the illuminations, which is where you hold up to a mirror to yourself and see how you can step forward on your journey. These are all my original paintings that are in the pack, and each one comes with its divinely inspired message. So today we're going to start our series. We are starting with the new moon in Aquarius. Today is February the 11th, and this is obviously, we all know that at new moon it's a time for setting intentions. So it's a really good time to look at how we move from here, where we look at what needs to be created anew, looking back at what hasn't served us and moving forward to do that. Because we're in Aquarius now and it's a fixed sign, it's very much about following what feels right for you. Don't be swayed by the opinions and the thoughts and the ways of others. This is the time to be innovative, the time to be unconventional in your approach. In not comparing yourself to others, it's actually important to look at how you yourself have done things in the past and how you can try something new. This is the time that reaches out to the new. And it's a time now to look at what is it in you that you need to become comfortable with. That part of you that you often have hidden, that is the part that holds your deepest gifts in many ways. And it's time now to step back and look at the bigger picture. So always remembering at this moment that we're still in Mercury Retrograde. And that started on January the 30th and it goes on till February the 21st. And that rules communication in all its forms. That means how we're thinking, how we're listening, writing, reading, speaking. It's personal, one-to-one relationships. It's online communications. Computers come into it. Many of us experience all kinds of ups and downs with computers at this time. It's a time to be very wary of negotiations and contracts. It's a good time to look at them, but not necessarily a good time to sign them. We need lots of flexibility. We need lots of patience to get through this. And also Mercury Retrograde deals with travel in all forms. So it's advised to be well prepared for any travel that you're doing. So let's pull a card. I'm going to now shuffle them. And we're going to pull a card that holds the energy for this new moon. What is going to be the best thing for us moving forward? I use a cloth that I've painted that has many animals on it. So the animals that come forward might have an extra message for us. And I work with the 4 elements. So at the moment, the first thing we do is pick a card that answers the question of how is it best to set new intentions for this fixed sign in Aquarius, this new moon today. Okay. The card that has come up that answers the question is number 23. Right. Now, the 23 card speaks very much about having been through a difficult time, and we all know that what we've all been experiencing with the COVID and the lockdowns and wherever we are in the world, we are completely influenced by what is going around us. There's a huge amount of fear at the moment in the world, and now we're being asked, how do we take our new intentions? How do we plant this new intention for today, that it can, by the time it's full moon in 2 weeks' time, it can actually come to fruition? And we're looking here at the elements of freedom and initiation. And it's telling you that it is now time to step out of the darkness. However it's been affecting you, however your own personal stories, your own personal losses and problems and griefs and general loss of being able to move around freely. How can you make new intentions around this? And it just says to you, remember that all happens in perfect timing. Nothing can happen that isn't in the timing that it needs to happen. Although it's been difficult, through it we have managed to gather many, many new gifts. And through these gifts, we can find that we have now got a service to humanity. We have learnt and dealt with enough. We're not the same person as we were this time last year. We're not even the same person as we were this time last month. Everything changes, everything moves, and it's for us to shift and change and move with it together. It says the initiation is over. It really is now to step forward. Look at the light ahead. Look at where you're going. Look at how much light is coming to meet you, to come your way, to lift you up, to help you step forward. It's now time for inner peace. As it's a card from your spirit guides, it's very much a card about your guides are with you all the time. You're not going through this alone. Although with everything that happens around you, and perhaps even you've had your own personal experiences of difficulties and hardship and even loss, it's a time to know you're not on your own. Your guides have your back all the time. They're with you. They love you. And if you can just remember to ask for their support and their guidance, they are there with you all the time. The biggest message of this is to remember that you are wise and you are powerful. You have that within you. It's now to step forward and take it to a further step. So now, on the next part, it's all very well having this is what it's all about, but let's unpack this a bit. Let's look at, on a spiritual level, how do we do this? How do we know that we can step out of the darkness? How do we know that no matter actually what is going on around, this is the time for walking with your guides and allowing the light that is there to come to you, opening yourself to it. So on a spiritual basis, now we have the card for the spiritual being. This is now number 10, which always speaks of new beginnings. And when it's as a 1, which is very creative and new beginnings and stepping forward into the new, when it's followed by a 0, any number followed by a 0 means you do it with your own inner gifts. This is particularly important now as we're in Aquarius. This is your own inner gifts. It is where you do it differently from others. It's not where you follow the textbook. It's not where you follow the things that are set down in stone. It is how you move with movement and change and new beginnings. It is your flight forward. Now we're talking here of your spiritual being. We're talking about the element of fire. Fire is that which gives us passion and joy. Fire is that gives us confidence and allows us to step forward in our journey. How do we find that courage? How do we access that joy? How do we start the new journey with everything being fresh and clean? And it's to remind you, now this is an eagle, this is reminding you of your own inner power. In other words, not needing to look to others for your power, gathering your power back from where it has been given too freely, reminding you that you're a light being and you are moving to the next level. You've done your preparations. This talks about a shift of consciousness. So this talks of moving between the different dimensions with freedom, with flight, and with power. It means bringing the messages, those intuitions, those things that you think of that strike you as feeling right, bringing them down, working with them, allowing them, ignite that fire within you. Have the courage to take the risks. Any change has a risk. And it's now time to risk being happy, risk moving forward, being an original thinker, strong and courageous. It really is time for wisdom consciousness. Your masculine and feminine energies need now to be in balance. That is what's going to allow you to totally enjoy the ride that is ahead of you. And that's fantastic. That now helps us to work out with spiritually. Now let's look at the emotional link. How do we step forward with our guides? How do we allow the light to come to us that is our way forward? How do we set these new intentions? Well, emotionally, we are faced with, we now have number 4. Now we're talking about the water energy here. This is taking the path of least conflict. It's where you surrender to what is happening. How do you build the trust? How do you trust yourself? It's acknowledging that is nothing that you do that is not divinely guided. Nothing that happens is not the perfect time. Everything in the now is absolutely perfect. So there's not a chance of you getting stuck in an emotional downward spiral if you remember that absolutely everything, if you have got something you're hoping to do and it just won't happen, it's not the right divine time. It means that it's time now to open your heart, allow yourself to receive as much as you're giving. You need to, with this card is telling us to clear judgments. The judgments are holding you back. It's like a backpack on your back that you carry around with you. It's your emotional baggage. It's saying, let it be, let it go, let it fly. It's time to move forward. It's also time to let go of beliefs, perhaps global beliefs, perhaps personal beliefs, whatever it is that puts you in a place where you are holding yourself back. What are you believing rather than knowing? What are you believing you should be doing? What are you believing you are being asked to do? Is any of that, and how much of it, is actually serving you? If it's serving you, fly with it. If it's not serving you, it's really, really time to go. It's have the courage not to hang on just because of the fear of losing. It actually talks very specifically about looking even at the things you keep in your environment, the things that you wear every day. If they make you feel light when you wear them or you look at them, they are good for you. If they make you feel heavy, no matter how beautiful and no matter where they've come from, there's a heaviness attached that will never go. It'll always be what you think of. So it really is time to look carefully at your personal environment and everything. Keep things in it that make you feel light. Keep things in that make you feel that it's worthwhile and that you are the person you really want to be. Learn to discern what's yours. Most of what we believe about ourselves is things we've come to learn to believe through social conditioning, through family conditioning. Everybody did their best, but does it really serve you anymore? Remember that you are the connection between earth and the divine. These designs here come from the tortoise shell, and the feathers and the eagle represent Father Sky. So here we're talking about you are the conduit, you are the channel between Great Spirit and Mother Earth. And you are needed, your energy is needed, and your energy needs to be light and clear so that you can move forward. As a spiritual being, you also need to access your own internal connection to ancient wisdom, to ancient earth wisdom. This is painted on wood, which always means connection with nature, you will restore yourself very well. It'll help your emotions whenever you're feeling overwhelmed. Spend time in nature. Walk in the water, swim in the water, be out in the wind, embrace the wind, hug a tree, be very close to nature, even if it's just in your own garden, or gaze at a plant if you have one in your home. And it's really time to ground yourself. There's no more, you can't fly high unless you're grounded. It's like a tree. You need the deep roots. You need to be deeply connected to the earth so that you can fly high without any limitations. Okay, so now I will pick the next card. The next card we're picking is the Earth card. The Earth card is our physical bodies, of the physical planet that we live in. We totally accept that wild animals, birds, and trees and forests are naturally supported by Mother Earth, but we tend to think that we don't deserve to do that. We are just as much a part of it. We are rooted in Mother Earth, and we also will be supported. We will be nurtured. We will find security and safety. We will know that Mother Earth is our home if we just accept that we are just as deserving as any other sentient beings or on this planet. And the card that we're picking up now, how do we earth ourselves? How do we find physical and earth safety? Card number 15, very beautiful card. It's called Visions. It's about creating the magic for yourself, looking at the new. There's this amazing light that comes down from Great Spirit and deep into Mother Earth. We need to remember to keep our physical bodies healthy, to keep our state of connectedness, is that we, each of us, have our very own divine connection. We are a very individual, very unique vibration, which combined with the connection to Great Spirit and the connection to Mother Earth is utterly unique. And we are always in this light. We carry it around with us. We go grocery shopping with it. We walk down the street. We are connected all the time. The only times we're not connected is when we start to judge ourselves. And it's asking you to look ahead, accept the visions of the things you want. Now, this is I remember we're talking about the physical body here and the physical planet, how we feel at home. It's total acceptance of the magic of every day, of every moment. And it's time to accept the gifts you have, those things that set you apart from others. They are your gifts. Look at them and use them. Remember when you're creating magic around you that it's very important to include others. And remember, and if you don't believe in this ability to create magic, every day is a new magical day. Every day is another time to step into new. Every day is a fresh new beginning and another a time to connect deeply with that is your connection to Great Spirit and to Mother Earth. Up to now, you have manifested absolutely everything in your life, and you can absolutely do it from here on in. Your magic will bring hope for the future. You need to encompass it. If you encompass it, you're giving others permission to encompass it for themselves. And just remember, you are the magician. You create your everyday magic. You create your everyday joys. You create your everyday ability to feel at home and comfortable. And now we're going to pick a card for the air. And the very interesting thing that we are going through at this stage is the COVID. And we have to bear in mind that COVID is an air energy of sorts. It's spread by the air. So now we have been led to believe that the air itself is toxic. We've been led to believe that it is not safe to breathe. And when we do find ourselves suffering from this virus, then the first thing to be attacked is the lungs. So once again, the message is it's not safe to breathe. Now we're breathing in the same air that our ancestors breathed. We're breathing in the same air that the people coming after us in our genetic line will breathe. We've shared the same air. As you breathe in, you know you're sharing stories from those that have gone before. And it is now time to put safety back in our own minds, to accept the vision and the clarity that this clearing, this great clearing, will bring us. But it's very important to be able to trust and to feel safe in the air. That doesn't mean not taking the necessary precautions that we all need to take, but it does mean stepping aside from the fear. The fear around the planet has become a huge entity in and of itself, and we do really need to protect ourselves from it at all times. We need to be aware, we need to be careful, but we need to step out of fear, and totally. And the card. Beautiful card to bring us that message. That is also a message from Spirit Guides. This is number 21, and this card speaks of the time of initiation is over. We have been through the very dark and harsh places where we almost feel as though we have to suffer, and many people have suffered. We've suffered financially, we've suffered physically, we've suffered personally, but it's time to step out of the fear of that. Acknowledge that you're a successful initiate. It's like getting, in the days gone by when we used to actually get the key of the house when we turned 21. It's like, acknowledge that you've stepped out of the training period. Acknowledge that it's time to step forward. You've come of age. You can access it all. You can have it all. You can do it. Your confidence. Now we're talking here about the air element. We're talking about how to gain vision and clarity in this new moon. It's remembering you've got all the qualifications. It's not necessary to turn to others. It's not necessary to turn to more knowledgeable people. All anybody can ever do is give you confirmation on some level or another. Sometimes dust open the window that's got too dusty that you can no longer see through. But nobody can tell you anything about yourself you don't already know on some soul level. So those are reminders. It's not new information. It's telling you that the sacred wisdom of forever, of the ages, is working with you. How you're coming out of this is one of love. The pink talks of unconditional love for self. It speaks of the many, many, many guides you have at any one time. Most of us are aware of two or three specific guides, but at any one time, we have a room full of guides. And I always love to think of the fact that when I go to the local grocery store, I and my guides just take up so much space. And it's lovely then to look at everybody else and how much space they and their guides are taking on. And it reminds us, we need to take the space we need. We need to breathe. We need to open. We need to be clear in what we know serves us and clear in what we know doesn't serve us. So it really is time to step ahead, knowing that we know it, looking for confirmation all the time, asking for messages, and knowing that we are there. Everything is conspiring to work with you. The world is your oyster. It's time to really, really enjoy what it brings you and what you have created in your life. So that is the basic reading for the new moon as we step forward. So that is how we can now set new intentions as the moon is in the dark of the moon now, and we look at what has no longer served us. How do we step into the new? How do we try something different? It's through knowing that the light and the joy of Great Spirit is coming towards us, not to block ourselves off from it. To remember that spiritually we have the gift of flight through all the dimensions. We know what it is that we need, and we can bring it back for ourselves. And then emotionally, it's what we need to get rid of or allow to move on. Water always takes a path takes a path of surrender. It's to surrender to what is, let go of what is heavy, keep what is light. in terms of our physical body and the physical planet and nurturing and bringing in abundance. It's creating vision, it's creating magic every moment of your life. If you're creating the magic just extends everywhere, and it completely shifts the life that you lead. And remembering, in terms of air, the air element, it's unconditional love for yourself, shown by your guides. You have done what is necessary. You have got the strength, the power, and the joy to move forward and do things in your way. And it is safe to breathe. So now, we are now taking this intention and we're going to apply it to the new moon. And so we now need to know the full moon comes about in 2 weeks' time. I think it's on the 28th, if I'm correct. But the halfway there, this time next week, will be the first quarter. The moon will be building up to the first quarter, and we need to see, having made our intention, what it is that we need to bring into balance for by this time next week, so that, having put our intention down now in new moon, we now bring into balance by next week what needs to be in balance, and so that our intentions can come to full fruition with the full moon, I'm sorry. So we are talking here now of when the moon is in its first quarter, next week, which is on the 19th of February. It's going to be on the cusp between Taurus and Gemini. And so what the gifts that Taurus will bring into this is how we respond to things, how we use our instincts, and how we use our feelings. It's very much an earth sign. It's very much bringing things down and making them real and making them part of us, feeling them inside. And the Gemini, that energy that will be moving into and be part of it is that part of us that's busy with multiple things all at once. But it's a very light energy. It's a time for fresh ideas, and it's a time when we can be changeable. If an idea is not working, we can shift from it. There's a lightness about it. So I'm going to pull a card for the balance for next week, so that, having put our new intentions into place, we will be able to manifest what it is that we are bringing into being for the full moon, so that it can really bloom and grow and expand. Okay, a lovely simple card. 24. That is called celebration. It means stop taking yourself so seriously. Stop taking everything so seriously. Celebrate. It's got a lot to do. It speaks again to the 15 that we pulled up for creating magic on the Earth card. Celebrate everything. Celebrate whatever it is that you're doing. It's about joy, and it's about love, and it's about celebration. And just know that you have complete faith in the complete divine faith in the divine perfection of absolutely everything that is in your space at that time. Whatever it is, whatever shows up, show up for it and celebrate. Celebrate everything. Celebrate your decision to incarnate, to be here at this time. Celebrate all. Acknowledge that every single moment of your life, whether it's been hard or whether it's been easy, every single thing has led to the perfection of this moment. So celebrate, dance, be joyful, sing, play music. Make sure that you turn everything that you do into a celebration. That will ensure that whatever you have put into place today at new moon will be able to come to full fruition and full harvest when we come to full moon. I bless you. I thank you. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you again in 2 weeks' time.